everyone, and welcome to Short Rest.
Pain!
Yeah, for episode
Pain!
98.
Why?
Magic and Mostead.
Pain.
Before we begin, Steve.
I'm in pain.
Legal Steve.
Legal
Illegal
pain.
focus.
Legal Steve is also in pain. Hello, everyone. My name is Steve. I am a community manager with Wizards of the Coast. Just wanted to say, thoughts and opinions expressed on this stream are my own. So with that, let's go ahead and see why I'm in pain. Mike?
As I've mentioned in every other Short Rest, any open questions as we start off?
I will say, I'm only going to state this, that you knew she was watching us because it would be you that goes after there.
That was a thing. Yeah, so I knew there's always some weird excitement with Rolly and owlbears.
Well,
And she must have caught that at some point because you've done it so often. And I'm like, of course a bait has to be an owlbear. I fully knew that Rolly was going to be the first to take the swing against it. I knew it was going to. I was like, it's going to happen. I got him. Hook, line, and sinker. You did.
Like a fish.
Like a fish.
And honestly, it's poetic that Rolly's hubris failed him again because it's like, I offered to help. Nope. All right.
I will say.
I still feel like I got this somehow. Some
I
way.
will say that your Dimension Door definitely has effed me in a way where I'm like, huh, I didn't expect him to be on the other side of the wall. Well, if that's all the open questions you guys, we'll get to more as we continue on with the recap. But as we begin, a very sweet scene, starting off at the
and
spray
sad.
room. What did you give up for Decompose?
Sacred Flame.
You don't have Sacred Flame anymore? Say la vie. Not that you used it anyways.
No, I did use it a lot in the beginning. It's just now like you need real fire. It's good against undead and stuff, but I was like, I don't know if I can take, because I've heard Decompose, but I've only heard it through Critical Role, and I thought
It's
it was
like-
something actually added by Matt, but then I was like, wait.
I'm generally against
can't-
homebrew magic. Homebrew magic, I feel, is it's generally unbalanced. Most people within the D&D community are like, and my cantrip allows me to heal free. And I'm like, all right, break the game, why don't you? Why even have health potions? But I know Decompose from Critical Role, and I'm like, it only thing it does is speed up decomposition, and I think it makes it harder for like
It says-
undead to happen.
Yeah, it says it rapidly decomposes, and it like degrades it into compost and mulch. But you can add flowers or stuff like that, like kind of flavor it in that way.
It's like a druid craft for
Reverse.
clerics. So I knew what it was. I knew what it does. So I was like, okay, that's fine. That's an easy trade. So that was a very sweet moment. I like that. And even like sort of the hinting of a beginning morning scene for Rolly. I thought it was sweet. I thought it was very nice. Obviously very sad for Rolly.
Well, I mean, like Vera could have did the ceremonial thing, but in the end result, a body would still be left behind. Like there was no way to send it home or send him home in a way that, like, I think she or Rolly would have felt was dignified enough. So, like, to decompose it back into the earth, like, because he was such a, so to speak, salt of the earth man, I think was fitting for her.
Don't you have ceremony?
I do, but like that doesn't put him in the ground or anything.
No,
just,
but it does
like,
take an hour too.
blesses
Yeah.
the body.
Blesses the
Well, I
body.
was thinking bless, because I didn't know if we wanted to, like, after the fact, try to take him home. So,
Yeah, I left him there just because I couldn't do anything about it in that immediate moment, but I did intend on coming back.
Well, I mean, it's wrapped out.
Now, I was then okay. I guess to put it this way, to be selfish about it, Rolly was gonna attempt to see if there was any way he could be brought back. Not that he could, but at least Rolly wanted to get that, like, he wanted to get that thought out of his mind. So he was gonna, once all this was said and done, he was gonna go out and find a way to do it. I knew he was old. I knew his time was coming, but I just feel that this end wasn't the end he deserved.
Yeah.
So that would have been there would have been a continuation of the campaign, like, you know, the
prologue,
the prologue after that, you know, the aftermath of all this, if you will. Yeah, that's what he was gonna attempt to do, because even if he could only bring him back in some partial form, to at least give him a proper, you know, a proper couple of minutes, hours, whatever of life to then pass naturally would have been
It's
what Broly would have wanted.
Wild, because Amber was talking about that after the last session when you
That's what I was
found his
gonna say
body.
right
She
now.
was like, I don't know what I don't know if I can do it right. There was like a lot
No,
of
there was very much that I was definite and I wasn't gonna do it right now because I kind of F's Vera if she does it. And I said, character-wise, with removing Uthiel from her storyline, like for a brief second, she knows that humans don't live as long as elves. So it's like, I don't know what the right way to bring up, like, he kind of lived a full life. And I couldn't say it in the moment because I didn't want to cry, but I was like, she was gonna tell Rolly it's fine, like he's with your mom, it's okay.
which is wild because that's exactly what you said
Yeah.
during your sort of like your moment of grief. You're like, well, he's closer to her now. And I was like, I don't know how. Did you guys talk to each other over the weekend?
This is the thing. Like, prior to her casting that spell, that was the thought that was going through Rolly's mind. Like, I'm going to leave him here. I'm going to deal with this, close this out, come back, and even though I know his life is not, there's not much life, there wasn't much life left, I was still going to bring him back or attempt to find a way to do it so that he could still live out whatever time he had left the way he wanted, naturally, among his loved ones. Not to be used as payment for stupid magic by some
My thing was
rage!
But
I
in the
think-
way, he already knew his time was coming. Because remember the whole thing of like he was retiring, he was slowing down. He kind of already accepted. He wasn't at the end of his life. Like he didn't think like, oh, death is coming tomorrow. But he was already kind of like, I've lived a full life. I'm ready to go.
I definitely
Fully-
see. I see both sides. I see the both ends. Yeah.
I'm gonna say that
I
if
fully
you,
agree
if
with
you
them.
talk to Vera and that's still the thought at the end of this and we don't die, then
That is still the
theoretically
thought.
she could do it, but she probably will have some words. Like, again, I feel like if you were to ask her, she'd have to think about it, but probably still do it. But like in the sense, she feels like she's kind of ripping him from your mom. So like, and I don't know
here's-
if he would want it to come back.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Had he died like in any other way,
like in
right?
his bed or something. Or,
Like in his bed, or maybe as the result of a struggle, and he just couldn't. His body didn't have the energy to continue on, and passed away that way. Even then, that would have been okay to me. The fact that he was used for something this disgusting, something this just inhuman, like this, I can't, it's not even evil. I can't even use evil. It's not strong enough, right? Whatever this is, the fact that this is how he went is not, it doesn't sit well with Rolly at all. It's like, this is not how it should be, all right? Even without giving away too much, even what happened with Garwin Kem, like even with that guy, like I knew he was a bad guy. I know he had bad intentions. I knew he had evil in him, but even that guy, I don't feel deserved to go that way.
oh,
And
oh, okay. I'll get to that when we get to the. Oh my god, I have so
Yeah.
many things to talk about that too. So beyond, I mean, again, it was such a beautiful moment, but filled with, I feel like like we can get really existential with this whole scene and what sort of like what may have happened and what could have happened, especially pulling away from like his wife and maybe living out the last few years. You guys made a smart decision to avoid the fight in the hallway or in the stairwell, completely avoiding that. I was like, wow, okay, crossing that off my list. I didn't expect that to be an option, but you guys did it. Then I'll one day I'll have to show you like the draft of her tower and how that is a possible thing. I didn't realize I drew. And you guys went into the museum, found sort of like one of the first spores from Zikmoy given to the queen. One of the old, like an elder spore that was basically being kept alive due to whatever was in that fishbowl or just like the lack of oxygen or something. What else? you guys found, or Vera found the vase from her dream.
Nope. Not
Necromantic goodness.
No, thank you.
I mean, they're not being
Alright.
used. It's just like, it's like, this could be bad. Good thing none of them are being used. And then Rolly sort of opening the floodgates to, I guess, a voice? And then
Pocket dimension.
someone reading out your thoughts and your actions, and then Vera ended up having a whole... That was weird. A whole conversation.
I mean, I felt like if anybody was gonna make their save, it was gonna be because it's like her highest stat.
But also keep in mind, me and Rolly intentionally failed 2 of them because we were just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I wanted to see what would happen if I didn't fail. I was like, okay, hopefully I don't. I want to see what happens.
Yeah. There was more to be seen when you weren't being blinded by the voice, which is what you saw.
He seems like a nice guy, but like I don't give a crap about the queen.
Yeah,
Like that's her problem.
there's a force of being something out there that's claims to be everything, and is just had a moment to talk and was just like, I'm busy. I thank you for talking though. Bye. Yeah, and you guys can kind of get an idea, like that's like if anyone were to have discovered that, you get a sense like Evergrey maybe had a same conversation, something similar, and it was like, wait a minute. Like I like the way that Temple, you sort of had Savannah go, well, I totally get the idea now. And that was the whole concept, was like, if someone's dictating what you're doing, then
Free will is not a thing.
free will is not a thing. At least for these things, for these people, it's not a thing. There was some debate about you guys. So it's this weird moment where it's like,
You're in the middle.
yeah, you're right in the middle.
I see it differently. I see it as it's not necessarily dictating our actions per se. It's taking a record of the things that happen as they happen. So there is really free will, because you are free to do as you wish. It's just a record of what you do.
That's an interesting take on it. Yeah. There's definitely there's different ways to think about it. Like that way is like, what if Queen Evergrey saw that and was like, my freedom's not there, when she's taking it the wrong way, where it's like, no, your freedom is there. This is just
A record.
The biggest thing that I said it was like, and I know I'm the only one that's gonna get the reference because you and I watched this, Mike, and then you were like, you're close, but not quite, was Dimension 20 did like fairy tales, right? But like a morbid version of each fairy tale. So each character was like one was Little Red Riding Hood, but she was like a werewolf, for an example. And
Like the inverse of.
more like she ate the wolf.
yeah,
like
she ate the wolf and became a werewolf.
There
was
was
a whole-
it gets wild. There's a lot of like twists and turns, but
Yeah.
essentially it's like, what happens if fairy tales became self-aware?
Yeah, like so they know that like there's writers in a sense, like there's people writing their stories, and they don't like the fact that everything is predetermined and like they don't get to choose their ending. So that's why I was like, that's what this reminds me of a little bit, at least for Evergrey.
That's what it sounded like, and honestly, yeah, I can see people trying to create a religious revolt cult in response to that type of thinking.
Even so, though, she's literally murdering anybody that like
Murdering.
helps her. It's like, okay, I'm done with you. You've done your use. Goodbye. And I'm like, I don't know who's gonna be really free in the end. Maybe just her. Or she's gonna kill.
Because I don't think she cares. At this point, I think everyone else is an ends to a means, but for her, there's a goal.
Yeah.
I had a different take on it, but it's fascinating to me because listening through what the guy was saying, that person, that silhouette, made me think of what are the Queen's ultimate plans beyond just, what she's doing now. Like what is she trying to do? She's trying to break free, but break free of what? She feels that everyone is basically a slave to what the dreamer does and what it's writing. So she's trying to break that, and it reminded me really about something else that I saw.
I
something
think I
else
know
I've
where you might
seen.
go with this because I had the same thought.
Yeah, where there's a character in a show that everyone knows called Rick and Morty, which I'm only
Oh,
going to say
no.
that
Oh,
once.
well, okay.
This
That's
once,
actually not the
okay?
reference I thought it was going.
Hashtag not sponsored, all right?
Hashtag new voice.
Oh god. But yes, there's a theory there about a particular character who feels trapped in their reality, and they're being trapped there against their will. And what they're doing is attempting to break free of that reality.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
In a way that basically takes them out of everything. And there is a way to do it. It's just going to require a lot of needless death and suffering. But they could ultimately break free of that cycle, of that finite curve.
Anything to do anything large like this requires a lot of suffering and a lot of sacrifice. Exactly. What was your reference, Temple?
I thought Steve was going to lead into the Human Instrumentality Project.
All the references today.
All the references today.
We're just full of
It's
them.
like it's an Evangelion reference. It's just all like in order to be to find peace, we all must be one. And we all must be taken apart in very graphic and violent ways, and it's supposed to be beautiful. And for some reason, that's what it was reminding me of. And I'm just like, maybe not maybe as extreme. So
I'll counterpoint that. The reason why I didn't think about that is because of the ultimate goal of each idea. Each thing has its own purpose, right? Whereas what you're referencing, the Instrumentality Project, is really something designed to stop pain and stop suffering, stop hate, stop everything by making us all one.
I
One
mean, if you go by what the
unified-
cultists are saying,
Right, just to make us one thing. But what I feel from the things I've seen so far, what I feel Evergrey's true purpose would be is to finally break free of the dreamer and not be influenced by the dreamer in any regard, but to be able to write her own story, if you will, make her own actions. And to do that, she has to break free of that reality, and that hence why breaking free at the cost of many people's pain and suffering, like, that kind of rings true to that.
Yeah. Before we dive, corkscrew into another sort of existential breakdown of what it could be, a lot of these are great ideas. A lot of these are good interpretations. We're getting close to the end, and I've obviously already written the end where I'm like, this is the reason, this is what's happening, these are the undertones, this is what's happening, like this is who's who.
Sinister undertones.
I can't confirm or deny, but I will
Any of
say
it.
I love the fact that you guys are thinking a lot of. I can say that some of these points do hit close, but I will never confirm if something hits directly. But
fair enough.
yeah,
Boo this man!
with that in mind, you guys made it to the Blake's room. I mean, this is where they sleep, so it's not going to be fully trapped. They only saw the secret space where they were trying to make a journal. Took that. The potions of vitality. Full admitting, the potions of vitality was essentially their versions of how do we stay up all night and continue our work without having to go to bed.
Caffeine.
Caffeine.
Adderall.
5-hour energy drinks. Now in a potion.
Pretty good.
So that's why every time you drink it, I said you felt great, like it hit like a boost of energy. So it took those, which is great. And then notes, just series of notes, some interpersonal notes. No one liked Lily. No one ever liked
that
Lily.
was a running.
Valid.
Yeah, no one liked Lily. Olivia, you guys already know that she was sort of entranced by Jade Rich. Not because of just his intellect, but because he had a history. He was a part of something called Rhapsody. I think. No, what did I say?
You said Rhapsody.
He's a Rhapsody.
Rhapsody. Nope. Put down. And now I'm thinking, was that the name of it? I think I said it. Yeah, Rhapsody. What was that? Which apparently it holds a lot of significance to those within deeper circles. Who knows? Maybe Savannah's deeper circles know. I don't know.
I'm like, I want to ask those 3. I'm like, there was 4 of them. There's 3 of you. Talk.
Oh. And then learned where the actual absorption chamber was. You guys didn't go into the queen's room.
I think that's why I was like, well, I guess they either can come with me or not, but I was very pointed at that point because I was like, that has been Vera's one thing is like, I need to get them out. I don't give a crap about her room right now. I'll go kill her when the time is beat.
You know how we keep saying Rolly suddenly is a one-track mind? At this point, so are you.
Oh yeah, but she literally has the most people to lose in that room. I like listed them out for Mike, and he was like, "Yeah, you're the most." So I was like, "F this! I can kill her later. I'm gonna go."
No, I mean, yeah, it's true. I mean, you definitely have a lot to lose. So I'm not going to spoil anything there was obviously some things of importance that you could have found in Queen Evergrey's bedroom.
I also don't know if we're ready to fight her. Like, we had not taken any.
Oh, she wasn't in that room.
Potions
She's
at this point.
She's on the 5th floor.
We still have 1 more floor to go.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Maybe I won't spoil it in case you decide to double back, but
Yeah.
I will say that
Which my intent was always to double back. Like you would not put this. You wouldn't put this here for no reason whatsoever.
no, I'm evil.
No.
I was more curious about the security room because I wondered if we went to the security room first, would we be dealing with what we're currently dealing with?
The security room holds a lot of arcane controls that affect a lot of the flying fortress.
It's like, no more floating. But
You want to drop? You can drop. Who knows? No, but a little teaser of what would be in the bedroom. There would be.
I wouldn't spoil it.
No, this won't spoil too much. This is something a little like something you notice right away. Paintings of the Evergrays, sort of her immediate family. Something I don't think you've ever gotten into.
I think maybe.
I found this very interesting. I wanted to include this somewhere. There were statues of creatures that, while alien and strange in view, they seemed very natural. A lot like when scientists pull up another deep sea fish and they're like, look at this brand new species. And we're like, the hell is that supposed to be? Like, it looks very alien and weird, but you're like, I guess I could see it living in Earth somewhere. So like long extinct animals that no longer exist. So I had a couple of designs that I built out, and that's something little teaser you would have seen. There was a lot of
Direction. We'll see.
it depends on what you guys do.
Double in black. Totally doing it.
And then going into the absorption chamber or the sacrifice room. Oh boy, I got you good.
Hey.
I mean, you got Garwo and Kem pretty good, but
Oh yeah, that was sad. Let me go.
I mean, I feel bad for him. Like, there is, because no one deserves that.
they
No
don't.
one deserves that.
but
But,
I don't-
but at the same time, we were going to lock him into jail for the rest of his life, so...
Yeah.
Deserved.
After Ruby Blair, a close friend is next.
Oh, thank you. I actually like Ruby Blair, so no.
But yeah, it's a multi-layered fight with a beholder. Yay.
It's like, get them all out so they can help Rolly with the bill.
If you guys can hurry up and figure this out quickly, that'd be great.
Is it bad in my head? I even said, I'm like, Owlbear feels simple, but there's got to be a catch to it. Little did we know.
I was thinking it was mutated somehow because everything's been an experiment thus far. But I was like,
Or I thought once it woke up, something else was going to pop out. Not it be an illusion, and then something bigger pops out.
I'm so sorry I made you lose your ruin, but I mean, I got you good.
No, that was completely valid. I'm surprised none of us were able to figure out it was an illusion before we did anything.
Which is always also very funny to me. because the first thing Vera always does when it comes to
Oh yeah,
investigating
my little
this weird
lantern.
is I'm gonna pull out the
Like,
lantern,
lantern.
and I was expecting that to happen, but I was like, there's a
No,
possibility.
a guy evaporated in front of me. I was a little distracted.
Fair, very fair.
It's the hubris. Their focus right now is save the people.
Yeah.
Fuck the illusion.
Well, it was very much pointed, but then also seeing a dude evaporate in front of her face. So she wasn't really thinking, hey,
Oh.
lantern.
By the way, that's the thing we have to discuss. So after the last session, I mentioned to you guys that more people were abducted in the past few sessions. I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe. And Amber was so struck with. You almost had like guilt. You were like, I can't believe I long rested, or like.
Oh
you're
yeah,
like,
for sure.
you're like,
I was like, I'm not gonna sleep.
You're like, I can't even sleep. I feel so bad. I feel horrible. I didn't expect it to hit you that hard, but there was a thing where you're like, well, who was taken? And I was like, I labeled 4 people, but I was like, 8 people in total were taken in addition that you know, personally.
Oh yeah, you made me roll.
And you were like, really? And there was like this discussion between me and you that we had off camera where I was like, fine.
I didn't know what I was rolling for though, so I was like, this better not be for anybody dying.
And I was like, Amber, I was like, you need to roll me a D20. And you rolled very high. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And
I
then in
rolled
my
like
mind,
an
I was like,
18 or some
that's
crap.
changing now. People are being abducted. I can't change that. But what I will change is the order. I will change the order in which what will happen when you guys walk into the room. And so that's when I told you, Amber, I said, you need to select one of your friends. Or yourself. I was like,
Yeah.
you need to select yourself,
Oh, now I
Rolly,
know why.
or Savannah. Because I have an idea of one person for each. And only one of them's a good choice for you.
And
which
the funny thing is, I told him, I said, my gut says Sav, but I was like, I'm gonna roll for it. And the dice, I said a D4, but I'm like, I'm just gonna put 3 of us. If it's one of these, then I'll re-roll it. And it rolled your number too. It rolled also Sav. So I was like, I guess it's Sav.
So you selected Sav. So I was like, okay, someone from Savannah's history, who you all know, is going to be on the chopping block the moment you open the door, which is going to be Garwin Kem.
We're not that.
So you rolled really well. I was like, selected Savannah.
I mean, if it could have been anybody, I'm totally satisfied with that.
It would have been heartbreaking if it was either Rolly or Vera, because I would have been like,
Yeah.
chose poorly. Sorry.
It would have been like somebody that was super close to us.
Yeah. Well, any lingering questions?
Well, now I know what I rolled for. Wasn't sure. You were just like, roll. Okay.
I have a question.
Mm.
Why do you hate us so much? What have we done
Welcome
to
to
you?
the final boss, you level 20.
Vicious.
Yeah.
Because he's got a baby.
Oh. No, I find it, this is fun. I like the fact that I can hit you without holding back, and you guys are smart to take it. Like avoiding a fight, or actually passing a DC 20 a wisdom save, or dimension dooring into a place I honestly didn't think you guys were going to enter. It's wild. I just feel sad for Rolly in this moment, because in the last hour he's just been hit twice, and now he's facing a beholder.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the beholder's gonna take the mind off the grief for a brief second of holy crap.
Hey.
Well, with that all said and done, thank you so much for joining us for Short Rest for episode 98. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Hey.